Welcome back. We are joined now with attorney Jenna Franks, and we also have Kristen Doherty. She's a long-term care planner and certified Medicaid planner, from the office of Steinbacher, Goodall. And Yurchak, ladies, we always love having you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
You.
So today we're going to be navigating a little bit about planning for your family members who might have a disability or special needs. Is that correct?
Right, yes.
So for people who might not be familiar, your specialty is elder care and special needs. So that's why you're the law firm that is like the go-to for people that are dealing with these situations.
Correct, or any government benefits, really, like for younger people or older people.
Okay, wonderful. So we are going to be talking about the special needs and the disabilities aspect. Kristen, what qualifies as a disability?
Yeah, so this actually can look a lot of different ways. So a lot of people think, we're only focusing on somebody under the age of 18, like a child who's disabled or has some special needs. And that is certainly something we focus on, but it's much more broad. So a lot of the families we're working with that might be 60s, 70s, 80s, they have an adult child that's disabled that we need to plan for in the event when the parent passes away. So if they're on any type of benefits or might need benefits in the future, we want to make sure that they're going to be eligible for those benefits or don't get kicked off of those benefits when their parent passes away.
Yeah, and I know that, I'm sure that is just so much stress on a parent. They probably know, especially if your child is born with a disability and you know that will affect them long term, that they need to start preparing now for their future, especially because we always say you never know what's really going to happen to you, so you just always want to be prepared. So how soon should people start planning these types of things, Jenna?
I mean, right now, if possible, there's really no time that's too early. There can be a time that's too late, however. And there's lots of different options. There's really, we can sit there and figure out, what like the living situation might be, the finances involved, and really just try to plan the best that we can. And we never really know what the future holds, but we do the best that we can to plan for it.
Now, would this specifically be talking about creating a will and a living will and then allocating funds with trust and making sure that if you are a parent of a child with a disability, that they're just going to be set up and safe and protected? Because I think one of the biggest fears is that a parent would say, I don't want this money to be misallocated, or I don't want someone to have control of these funds and it not go to helping my child, because once you're out of the picture, who's really going to take over?
Yeah, absolutely. This planning is not really cookie cutter, so it really depends on each individual situation. But a lot of times it might make sense to set up like a special needs trust for some of these situations. Even if we're not sure whether your child's going to need government benefits in the future, it's always better to maybe put that trust in place ahead of time. That way, if they do end up needing government benefits, they're not kicked off the government benefits by receiving an inheritance from their parents, right? They can kind of keep the inheritance from their parents, but also qualify for any government benefits that they might need.
Yeah, I feel like what we were just talking about is probably a disability that was diagnosed at birth, but then also some people can maybe have an accident and that changes their cognitive, function. Can you elaborate more on how you can help those individuals?
Yeah, absolutely, because you're right. It can be something that happened at birth, something later in life. All of it's really important to plan for. So a lot of times, and we were talking about this a little before the show, the monetary benefits, not typically the biggest aspect of what somebody needs. It's really that gateway to medical assistance, health insurance, because somebody who has a disability or special needs typically has a lot of medical bills.
Yes.
They really, in that medical assistance, health insurance really helps them so they don't become impoverished, they can afford the care they need and they deserve. So a lot of times that's the benefit that we're working towards to make sure they can obtain or they don't lose it later.
Wow. And you ladies, it's not just the legal aspect. I feel like there's also the compassionate aspect or navigating those things, because it's like we have Jenna, who of course is one of the partners at Steinbacher, Goodall, and Yurchak. But then what exactly do you do, Kristen?
Yeah, so my background's actually in social work, but really a lot of what I do at the law firm is helping families navigate this, because we spend a lot of time talking about dementia and navigating through that. It's equally as important to walk through and help the families figure out what options they have as far as benefits, care options, all of that, because it's so confusing and it's so overwhelming. And we're asking families that already have a lot on their plate to put even more on their plate.
I
So
know.
our job's to kind of take that off of them and help them figure out what's available.
And even though it may be stressful to deal with, it's better to do it now.
Yes.
Just check that box off, and then you can feel much more relaxed and that you have a plan. Jenna, what's the best way for people to get a hold of Steinbacher, Goodall, and Yurchak?
Sure, they can call our office at 1-800-351-8334. You can also look us up on Facebook or YouTube, or you can reach out to us through our website at paeldercouncil.com.
Wonderful. Ladies, we always love having you on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Kristen and Jenna, if you missed anything, we'll have those details over on WTAJ.com.